live?
We're live.
There's no fire. It's like against all odds, and we still a movie.
Why are we so good?
Good coaching. I think the league knows Spoelstra is a verifiable.
I'm gonna say a few times during the last couple of years, you've been a hater.
I wouldn't say hater. I would say criticizer. Yeah, but hater, I didn't hate. Hate is a very strong word.
You wanted him out of there.
Look, man, in the passionate love for my team and in analyzing this thing and looking at the facts at that time, I mean, now we're talking, this is almost, 5-6 years later. That's a lot of experience gained. That's a lot of playoffs games won. That's a lot of stuff. At the time, we're talking about someone who still had relatively minor experience in the league, didn't have a lot of playoff experience.
So,
Let
2
me
years.
let me touch that again though, because Spoelstra has the playoff experience of being an assistant under Riley. But when the team was initially formulated, well, Bronny and Bosch and all these people, you're thinking with this type of lineup, you need a coach of a higher caliber, someone like a Popovich, right? Even O'Reilly. Someone
I
who
was
is
with
known
you on
to,
that. I'm gonna admit that there were times when I was like, damn. Even though he went to the finals every year, okay?
Almost anyone could have coached that team to the finals in a weak Eastern Conference with arguably two of the three best players in the league at that time.
I think they were legit.
So
two of the three.
let's
Two
bring
guys.
it back to Spoelstra. He's a great coach, but I think he's a coach that does more with less. So I still have certain criticisms I reserve about him. I think other people do also. I think people have said that he's somewhat predictable at times. That at times he is kind of stern in his ways like Riley, and he might go to a certain system play or whatever defensive scheme that might not be working anymore, and he might stick with it a little too long. So, the criticisms still remain, but the fact is he is a coach that does very well with a team that might not be the most talented team in the league. I think that when he has a team that is constructed with players who need something to tap their potential, he does that. He gets it out of them.
But then you look at this squad right now.
Incredible.
21 of 25. And that's comparable to anything. I mean, our biggest streak as a big three was, what was it, 20?
12,
27?
20, yeah. Something like that.
27. This is comparable to that. And within that 21 to 25, we had a 13-game streak. And we're talking about a team with 0 all-stars. You need 2 superstars to compete and 3 to win it.
Miami Heat are one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They've won 20 of their last 24.
This might be a crazy question. Is this team better than our big 3 Heat?
Oh, come on, let's not get carried away, man. Let's not go crazy, man. You know what I mean? This team has better chemistry than that team, but as far as talent and potential, there's no comparison.
That team was, especially the first year, that team was so top-heavy.
Yeah, I understand, but if we're talking about quantitative talent, like I said, and potential for damage and championship aspirations, there's no comparison.
You don't think this team has... I mean, if you look at the standings, okay, it's this team and San Antonio, Golden State, and Cleveland in terms of since the new year, in terms of their record since the new year. And those are all contenders. Why does our record being what it is not make us contenders in your mind? Real talk.
Well, I'll make this very clear, and I think, a lot of people don't really understand the dynamics of this, is that the playoffs are an entirely different game. It's a different season. The game slows down. There's more time to obviously scout and prepare for a team. And that's when the little things get exposed in the playoffs. When adjustments are made, things are focused on.
defense.
When you're
is a
rolling
big
the
bit of
regular,
it.
well, I'm just saying, when you're rolling along in the regular season, it's a different game every night, different team every night. Coaching staffs and players aren't going to be, their focus isn't going to be so intent on your team like it would in the playoffs. In the playoffs, this is life and death. So then you begin to see teams that might not have as much talent become exposed.
Does this team not have as much talent, or do they just have talent spread around the edges of their bench a lot more than a lot of other teams?
What's unique about our team is that we have talent, but it's talent that's still in the process of developing, right? So it's not like we have players that are okay and we're getting the most out of them. We have players that are good, but they have a much higher potential. So we do have talent, and right now we're getting some great play from a lot of young players. I mean, we have a pretty young team. You know, the foundation of this team is pretty young. A lot of guys under 25.
You talk about the playoffs and how it slows down. It's kind of tailor-made for a team with a top four. I mean, and this isn't even just since the streak. This is all year round, a top four defense. You know, this team swarms the basket. It blocks shots. It gets strips and plays those lanes. Like, I mean, I don't know. Who do you want to compare them to?
Well, look, don't get me wrong. Am I saying we can't be successful in the playoffs? No. In fact, I think if this team can even get a 7 seed, we could get all the way to the conference finals. I really believe that.
But don't you want to play Cleveland in the first round a little bit?
No, I don't. I don't, because I think a lot of our players need to build some playoff experience. And even a round or two before we place Cleveland, with them increasing in confidence, experience, and ability, I think that would help. For a lot of these guys, it's going to be their first playoff experience. I mean, you know, Tyler Johnson and some of these other guys. You know, actually Tyler Johnson was, I think he does have a little playoff experience. But regardless, even if he did, it's not a lot, you know. So for these guys to be thrown right into the frying pan with the Cavaliers on their mission to repeat, no, let's try and get that 7, even possibly 6 seed. I mean, it's the East, maybe even the 5 seed. Because I think I think we are a legitimate threat for any team in the East in the first round, except for Cleveland.
We watched them dismantle a LeBron-less, Kyrie-less squad, and even get into a little, you know, battle at the end of the game. You knew Cleveland was hunting, coming back to put their stake in the ground and say, we're the champs, and that was a little bit of disrespect. And then we beat them in their house, bro. We beat them in their house. Yeah. So what do you have to say about that? When the team is ready for us, of course they didn't have Kevin Love, but yeah. What do you think about us beating them in their house? Does that not give you pause?
No, I mean, it just tells me that we can compete with them in a 7-game series. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know, the playoffs is a different animal. We've had a lot of great wins this year. I mean, we beat Golden State with a healthy Durant. Do I think we're going to beat them in a 7-game series? No. You know what I'm saying?
But yet we've beaten, listen, in these last 25, 26 games, we have beaten every team. We've beaten Houston twice, Golden State once, we've beaten Atlanta, Toronto, the cream of the East, and absolutely the cream of the West, Houston and Golden State. I think we lost to San Antonio, didn't we?
Yeah.
We've beaten them all in this streak, and this team is not a team with a really good rookie coach. It's not Boston. We're talking about a team with championship coaching, championship pedigree, and as you can see, man, grit. We do not allow cats to be in that lane without being harassed.
No question.
And I think we got the best shot blocker going.
No question. And, you know, this team has taken on the identity and the spirit of its coach. You know, it's a feisty team. It's a team that works hard. It's a team that's going to compete with anybody. It's a team that has attitude, which is what I like. You know, I think they went in there, going back to what you were saying about the Cleveland game, when Kyrie and Bronny played. And this team went in on a mission. I think they felt disrespected, like they should have, by the Cavs resting Kyrie and Bron. And I feel that the Cavs maybe underestimated our team. Maybe they thought, let's
Even in
just
the
rest our
second game?
boys and what's that?
Oh, okay. You're talking about the first.
Oh,
game.
in the first game.
Uh-huh.
And then I feel Cleveland was, overconfident and say, you know what, we'll just play our guys when we get back to the queue, and it'll be all good. We'll smash them, and that's it. But I think our team took offense to that and went in there with attitude, and that's what I love to see. You know what I'm saying? And these are essential components for any team that's going to be successful in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some grit. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some get down when the going get tough. You know what I mean? And that's what this team is. It rises to the challenge. I mean, God knows the record 11-33 or whatever it was
To start.
Yeah, you know
But
what I'm
even
saying?
then,
That's
it
a
was a
challenge.
lot of fourth quarter breakdowns. We didn't know how to close out games then. We weren't just losing and being little punks. We were finding ourselves and losing by, not that much in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this team took longer to gel or come together.
First year together.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that some of that is in there too. Guys need to learn the system. The Miami Heat have a very defined system on how they play and how they practice everything with a lot of new players. So, an adjustment period was necessary, along with some crucial injuries that we suffered early in the season to who we thought would be very key players in our rotation. So, but the main point is this team rose to the challenge. It showed its true grit, and we see the results now.
I'm looking at an article by Michael Brock from allyoucanheat.com, a stat that he pulled from NBA.com. Heat opponents are shooting 55.9% from within 5 feet of the basket. That's the third lowest in the league.
Yeah.
So that's swarming, and it's also Whiteside.
Yeah. I mean, we know that defense has been the foundation of Miami Heat basketball.
And is
Pat
absolutely,
Riley
you have to
eras.
have it in the playoffs.
And no question. Again, family Heaters out there, Heat lifers, we're not saying that this team is not going to make some noise. I think we're both confident that we are going to make some noise in the playoffs. You know what I mean? But we just want to temper the expectations with this team. This team, like we just said.
But
is
why? This
first
team
year
seems to be
construction.
this team seems to be kind of throwing caution to the wind, going for broke, and really not tempering their own expectations. You know what I mean? So why should we temper our expectations? We got nothing to lose. We're not like a superstar. We got nothing to lose. Why not hope for them to beat every team they see coming? Because that's what they've done.
Look, we can talk about it in a light that, look, man, in our wildest dreams, could we possibly get to the finals? Possible, man. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Cleveland still has.
Don't you think? Okay, put it this way. Let's say you're gonna concede that Cleveland is just up and down better than us, which they are. Is there any other team in the East that we should give that kind of respect to?
Oh, Boston. I think Boston is a legitimate threat to Cleveland, and I think
in terms
Boston,
of us, though, is Boston straight up and down better than us?
in some ways, I wouldn't say it's straight up and down, but in a lot of ways.
Tell me.
And here's the thing, Heat family and my brother, you know what I'm saying? Is like, again, we don't want to beat this horse to death, but the playoffs is a different animal. And if we're talking championship expectations and aspirations, we're talking several rounds of grueling playoff play. We simply just don't have the players with the experience. And right now,
as much as last year was Boston's
come on,
first
brother.
year, dude. Last year was Boston's first year in the playoffs. Our leadership, our core, was all in 3 series last year.
Boston didn't make the championship last year, did they?
No.
So look, you can get to the playoffs
No,
with,
but
with players without experience. We're not saying
but
that.
what
You
I'm
can
saying,
make noise.
They
We're
were
not
out in
saying
the first
that.
round.
We're talking about
They were out in the
championship
first round,
Right, exactly.
Number one, they were out in the first round. Number two, that's their playoff experience. 1 round. The core of this team is 3 rounds of experience, and the coach of this team is championship experience. I mean, if you look at it, I know we're looking at a lot of the newer players. We're looking at, a lot of players who are rising to their potential. If you look at it, why are we not why would Boston get, just straight up respect as being better than we are?
Well, they're a better team. They have more experience.
Break it down for me. Why are they better, bro?
Well, they're a better
Roster?
What's that? Yeah, their roster is slightly better than ours. We're similar in some sense. Because Boston, you could legitimately say they're almost a collection of very good role players and a couple of exceptionally good players. Obviously, Isaiah Thomas and Horford. They've got a solid defense. They've got a good young coach. You know what I mean? So we're very similar in a sense. Would we give Boston a run? Like I said, any team in the East, 2-7, I think we could beat in a playoff series. I do. But as far as Cleveland, do I think we would beat them? No. But is it impossible? No. But when it comes to Boston, Toronto, whoever is in the East, we definitely got a legitimate shot against them.
Come on.
I would say so, definitely.
You say Isaiah Thomas.
Dion has had some shining moments this year, and that's great. He's always been a good but inconsistent and somewhat immature talent, But
Getting that maturity now,
I would not compare him to Isaiah Thomas. I wouldn't. I mean, none of us can lose our heads with this losing streak and these things, and winning streak. Excuse me. We're in a great groove right now. A lot of players are really finding their notch in the system. There's a lot of chemistry, fluidity. It's beautiful, but we just want to temper it with a little bit of logic and practicality. You know what I mean? And Isaiah Thomas, this guy leads the NBA in fourth quarter scoring for a reason. He's been doing this type of thing since he was a rookie in Sacramento. So let's just not say, hey, Dion's had a great couple of games. I mean, you got to, in this league, you got to do it on a consistent basis, man. We've seen guys have. We're not going to go to Ike Austin, and there's a lot of guys throughout the league have had a big year. Maybe it's a contract year, and then that's it.
It is a
You never
contract
hear from him
year, and
again.
he's making 2.9.
There you go. So you know what I'm saying? Let's.
But
just
this is,
temper all
but
these
like,
things.
the dude is talented. Everyone's known it. He's been with Cleveland. The
Yeah,
dude's
of
been
course.
with OKC.
No question.
But like most players who come here, they become their better selves with this coaching staff, with this discipline. And, I was reading an article last night where he was like, he wants to make this his home and he wants to continue to thrive and improve here. And that to me shows a level of maturity that you don't usually associate with Dion Waiters. Most of the people that I'm seeing give him respect are also kind of tempering it with, well, this is Dion Waiters, damning with faint praise type thing,
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, the guy's had a history of inconsistency, but we all got to understand that these are really young men. You know what I'm
24?
saying? Yeah, and they're trying to find their way in.
What's
the
his
league,
upside
so.
to you, Dion Waiters? A mature, practiced, defensive-minded Dion Waiters. Can he be? Not what D Wade was to this league, but maybe what D Wade should be to a team like this. Can he be that?
Well, I'm not going to do any D-Wade expectations. It's too late for that. D-Wade has been a bona fide superstar from he was a rookie making big shots,
That is true.
And a consistent contributor on playoff teams.
Mature from the gate.
Right. So Dion Waiters is a guy who's just, still trying to find his niche in this league. He's found it this year, obviously. But look, man, the guy's got a huge upside. He's got all the tools. He's got the potential. It's more of a mental thing, Yeah, and that's the thing, he's got that heart, and you can't teach that, you can't develop it, you have to just have it or you don't, you know what I'm saying? But the main thing is you got to balance that with your mind, like everything else, you know what I'm saying? So Dion is in a great spot. We are a system and a franchise that has all the components that he needs for success. He probably hasn't had the support, the type of franchise in his brief career that the Miami Heat franchise brings. But it's on him as well. He's got to show a certain level of commitment and maturity to work hard for himself and for the team to get himself to his highest potential in order to help this team reach its highest potential. Not just me, Dion Waiters,
Which
and
he has not been.
let's see how I can market myself to the rest of the league and make as much loot as possible.
Which he hasn't been. He's been to me. He's been his best self. So
Yeah, no question.
I know
no
we're
question.
not trying to compare D Wade to waiters.
But just to seal it up, like you said, does this guy have the potential to be a bona fide, consistent all-star in this league? Yes.
So okay, we're not going to compare him to D Wade, but let's talk about D Wade for a minute. No, last year when we lost D Wade, you were done.
I mean, I'm a Heat lifer, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a man of principle, first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And principle comes over basketball. Principle is life.
Yeah, but
You
you're
feel
a
me?
Heat fan before you ever heard of D Wade.
Yeah, but like I said, King, it's all about principle with me, you know what I'm saying? And that's about, that goes over any component in life, whether it's basketball, whatever it may be. And the circumstances with D Wade and this franchise and how it went down, I wasn't feeling that, you know what I'm saying? And you can take the Lakers, for example, you know, you got a guy like Kobe who was obviously on the last leg of his career, and they gave this guy stupid money. But Dig, we're not saying that he got to get the same stupid money, but the point is principle. You take care of the man who put you on the map. Bron wouldn't come here if it wasn't D Wade. Bosh wouldn't have come. Shaq wouldn't have come. D Wade made this franchise what it is. Don't get me wrong, enough respect to Timmy, Zoe, the whole, you know what I'm saying? But D Wade is what put the Miami Heat on the map. D Wade is who put the Miami Heat on the map. D Wade is who almost single-handedly brought a championship to this team. D Wade should have had 2 Finals MVPs when Bron didn't bring it against Dallas in the first final. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna get into your hate of LeBron in a minute. But,
oh man, don't use that word hate, brother. You know
you
it's all about love and peace,
I hear
man.
you, but you did have some anger towards this dude. My point is with D Wade.
Yeah.
A lot of what you said, I do agree with. In that, like, we should have never let it get to the point where he felt disrespected by a team that it's the house that D Wade built. It's his house. It's still his house.
Merchandise this guy made, like this. D Wade has made this team $1 billion powerhouse in the NBA, man.
Yeah, I actually
looked
up a Forbes stat a couple weeks ago, and we're more valuable than Cleveland.
Word. Why? Because of D Wade. Straight up and down. Shaq didn't stay. Bron didn't stay. Who has been the consistent spark plug, the flamethrower, the fireball? You know what I'm saying?
Zoe left.
That's what I'm saying,
But we
It's
didn't
D Wade. And
but
the one player who made this franchise everything, who put it on the map, who brought you publicity, national recognition, championship rings, and you can't honor this guy, respect him, the guy who's taken less money 3 different times, so you could, you know what I'm saying, bolster your team with talent. I mean, come on, man. To me, it's not even an argument. You know what I'm saying?
But then he left for $3 million proper more than the offer. It was $20 million. He left for $23, and we have no state income tax where they do in Chicago. So essentially, the dude left for the same amount of money.
No doubt. That's what we're saying. It's on principle, man. He felt disrespected.
But you left
and
your
you give
franchise,
your blood, sweat, and tears, you know? You know what I'm saying?
But you left this is your franchise. No matter what he gets paid, everybody knows. Even D Wade, another article I read, D Wade, he was like, sometimes he forgets he doesn't play for the Heat. He sees a team on the schedule playing the Heat, and he'll be like, oh, I got to get ready for it. Then he'll remember, I'm with Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, this is his team, and like no matter what happened, you see how the Heat organization takes care of its icons, man. You got Battier, who's now the analytics. Tim, who was here for a long time, who's gone on to play with Stan, another Heat guy in Detroit. You know, that's the Heat Mafia, bro. You got Zoe, who's player development. But
it's a family thing. No
you know, D Wade, and I believe he will be back. But like right now, did they make the right decision?
I mean, you know, that question is loaded. How can you say that really? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can look at the team as it's presently constructed now and say, yeah, it's a good thing D Wade wasn't here. But you never know. You know, maybe D Wade with this team, or with one player on this team not getting as much minutes, maybe we're even a more potent team because we do have a bona fide legitimate closer. You know, D Wade, even though the offense has heavily relied on him in years past, he's not a selfish player.
But he's a rhythm player.
Point is, if D Wade was here, he's a player that can adjust. D Wade adjusted when LeBron was here. He went from being a ball heavy player to being a dude that became one of the best slashers in the league.
Dragic last year was essentially a setup man and a perimeter shooter, while D Wade was the first option.
Even that being said, they both adjusted to each other. You have to make sacrifices in this league. Everyone in the NBA, man, is the first option, bro.
But we
You
see
know
the
what I'm
turnovers
saying?
are less with Dragic.
Well, it's a different
and
team,
The other,
man.
and they're, you know, pretty much 3-4 guys a night have double figures.
It was like that when D Wade was here, man. We've always been consistent. It's not like D Wade averaged 25 last year. With us, he averaged 19. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a player who can adjust, and he's always been a player who's made the players around him better.
So straight up,
You know what I'm saying?
Ellington and Johnson for D Wade right now.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know, that's tough. Maybe you do that because
Why is it tough?
you know, D Wade makes up for those two with what he brings, and then also not only that, he's got that closer.
We're talking about
intangible.
lights out 3-point shooting from Ellington, who he's a straight up. He is the type of spot up shooter that you need, and then you got a very surprisingly versatile James Johnson, who is like 6'9", 6'10", can take you off the dribble, he can shoot, and you know he can set up other players, and nobody's really keying in on this dude.
Yeah, both of those guys are having great seasons, but like I said, man, we got to, you know what I'm saying, let's keep it peace in the mind and let's not go crazy. No one heard about these guys before this year.
Nope.
Let's not go crazy. So don't be like, oh no, I'd never get rid of them for D Wade. Yo, D Wade is a Hall of Famer.
Look, I love D Wade, but winning cures everything, and we're winning right now, and we're winning against the best and the brightest in the league.
Well, here's the thing, Dig. It's like, obviously, it's an interesting question to pose. You know what I'm saying? And it brings up all kind of emotions and all kind of stuff. But no one in their right mind in the league, in any front office and any coaching staff, would tamper with a team that's won 21 out of 24 games or out of 25.
That's
You don't
exactly
do that.
right.
So let's not, you know, like I said, we can have these imaginative discussions and it's peace, but it's like, look, you're not going to mess with a team with chemistry like that. The parts are working. So if we want to talk about it hypothetically, that's cool, would you do it? But, I mean, you know, realistically, I mean, come on. Now, even if we were to go there and say, okay, but let's say the trade is an option. Then look, even though the team's on a hot streak, you're going into the playoffs. You have a player with experience, championship experience, a Hall of Famer, that can adjust, that can come in and adjust his game to your schemes as well as bring his own individual element. So, you know, I wouldn't mind having D-Wade back either at the same case. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we'd be losing Ellington and Johnson, who have been great this year, you know, a D-Wade in the playoffs. I mean, look what D-Wade did in the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like 206 D-Wade. This guy was just putting it down on the road, hitting shots, game winners on the road in the playoffs, in the fiercest environment. So let's not be like, oh, Wayne Ellington, he's been on fire for three, and Johnson, and no one heard of these dudes last year. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it real. Let's keep it peace in the mind, and you know what I'm saying? Let's enjoy the team for what it is. This is what's going down, fam. The trade deadline is dead.
Would
feel
you
me?
trade those dudes for LeBron?
But whatever you got over there, past that, and let's both get on that meditation.
Do you want LeBron back on the team?
Sure.
You do?
I'll take him.
Again,
Yeah, let's get some more rings.
listen,
Why
he's
not?
the best player in the league.
Yeah,
That was a trick question.
Come on. You want LeBron on your team? Nah, man.
Nah,
That
dude,
dude,
that
you
was
got a
trick
receding
question.
hairline, yo.
That was
Come
a
on,
trick
man.
question because you hate LeBron.
Dog. Yo, I'm about love and peace,
But
people.
you hate LeBron.
The point is, the people that have to know, that is all about peace and love. Let's get it real for the fam out there. You know what I'm saying? I've never hated LeBron. The only criticism I've had of him is before he got here, I said he didn't have that killer clutch, that ice water, that, you know what I'm
Everybody
saying?
said that.
You know what I mean? And I wasn't alone, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I still respected his game. I still thought this guy was like magic on steroids, you know what I'm saying? In 2009, straight up, D-Wade should have won that MVP. I think a lot of people thought that. I wasn't alone. National media people thought that. Ahmad Rashad said that. I thought for the first maybe 10 years of their career, D-Wade was a better player. And I don't think I'm alone. And I think the statistics say that as well as the playoff performances. You know what I'm saying? LeBron came in marketed as the best player in the league. That doesn't mean it was true the first 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Was he one of the most talented, if not the most talented? Yeah, but that don't make you the best player. You know what I'm saying?
Kobe those 10 years?
And I'd say more than half of them he was. You know what I'm saying?
Explain that.
Oh, when you look at field goal percentage, when you look at assists, making your players better, all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? I think D-Wade was that defensively, blocks, steals. I mean, come on. Definitely argument could be made. You know, I even heard Jeff Van Gundy say that one time when Kobe got first team All-NBA over D-Wade. He said it on national television. He said he didn't have a better season than D-Wade. You know, so look, this has been the story because D-Wade has never been a player that came in publicized and on some hype, you know what I'm saying? So the media not going to give him shine like that, you know? But anyway, just to seal up the Bron thing, ain't no hate with Bron, any player or any entity in this planet. You know what I'm saying? Bron is cool. At times throughout his career, I thought he was overrated. The last couple of years, I don't think anyone can have any real critiques on this brother. He rose up and stepped up to the challenge.
That's your fire.